Hello and welcome to episode 46 of Your Ultimate Comeback. As the last few weeks and on an NFL, number 46 is a tough one to find. But I found one. And for all of you that aren't football enthusiasts, but you have one in your life, here's a fun little tip.
A fun fact.
A fun fact.
Yeah.
That you can show off your NFL knowledge. Lou the Toe Gorza was number 46 for the Cleveland Browns, is the only NFL player who wore the number 46 that's in the NFL Hall of Fame.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the toe.
The toe, T-O-E, not toad.
He was a tackle like Garrett,
Okay.
but also a place kicker.
Oh,
That's why I got the nickname the toe.
Okay.
Yeah, so there we go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a
How's
fun
everything
fact.
going?
Things are good. Things are good. We have an assistant with us today.
My little guy is here with us.
Yep.
We tried to get him to join us, but he said no.
He's off camera today.
He's off camera. He's busy punching away, playing his game on his computer. Yes, he's in front of a screen.
Oh.
Yep. I allow it periodically.
Yeah, it's okay. So he does a lot of outside time. We know that.
He's very active.
Yes.
He's got a big game tomorrow, so we're trying to rest.
Okay.
I'm pretty excited. We're having a boys' weekend, just him and I.
Nice.
Yep. So his mom and sister are out of volleyball tournament, so we're going to go watch Mission Viejo High School play.
Oh, they're
tonight.
Good. The Diablos.
Yeah, they're number 2, right? They're right number 2.
Oh, yeah, they're strong.
Yeah, so.
Is Rob Johnson one of the coaches?
Not anymore.
Okay, used to be,
I think the gentleman's name is, I think it's Chad Johnson is the head coach's name. Not related to the Johnsons, but he's a great coach.
Yeah.
I got to meet him. He has a son my son's age, and we played against his teams in 7-on-7, and really cool guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Gavin really likes the Diablos. So
That should be a good,
yeah. When we have our boys' weekends, it tends to be all about food and sports.
Nice.
That's what we decided in Denver a couple of weekends ago.
Fantastic. I love it.
It's great.
I love it.
It's great. All right, so we've kind of been banging around ideas to talk about today, and I just had this idea that came to me after some conversations I've had with my little guy.
Yeah.
And I saw this post, just kind of triggered it. I want to dive into goals.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with a father who was very focused on setting goals.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a big part of my life.
Yes.
But as I get older and I've really kind of paid attention to goals and how it all works, I have a very different feel about them, and I want to talk about that because I think it's I think more people need to kind of follow in this realm.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why. I'll give you a perfect example. I wrote a book in 2016 with the goal of I wanted to be a New York Times bestseller. That was my goal. And in all honesty, most people when they go to write a book, that's one of their goals.
Yes.
I did not reach that goal.
You did not.
No, I didn't. I reached Amazon bestseller, but I didn't reach a New York Times bestseller.
Okay.
And I was honestly disappointed in myself. And I look now at that same scenario. I'm like, what was I like? It doesn't even matter, because reality was that book has changed so many people's lives. Like that book was written in 2016. I still get every month multiple emails of people who bought the book, had a massive impact on their lives. I should have written the book with the goal in mind of I want to just change people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
And had it been more of an intrinsic driven scenario versus I wanted to be a New York Times bestseller for the attention, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, because it's like, it means that I wrote a good book and it means it's a value and I would be a more valuable person.
Right.
And so that's an example where what I see with goals is we're using goals typically for external validation. That's a perfect example of a scenario.
Yeah.
I wanted external validation. It was not an intrinsic driver. I wanted to be a New York Times bestseller for the attention that would get me, for the value it would create in my world.
Or assumed value.
Assumed value.
Yeah.
But I thought if I became a New York Times bestseller, it would have a big impact on my life.
It probably would have.
It might have.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't have. But
You don't think?
I don't think so, but
You would have had book tours and you would have had speaking engagements and you would have been on TV. And no?
I don't think that would have happened.
You don't think so?
No.
You never know.
Maybe. I mean,
Okay.
I still got a lot of speaking engagements.
Right,
It's
right.
been great. But it was, I just did it for the wrong purpose.
Right.
And as I watch and I look at goals, because I start every conversation with people, what's your goals? And I need to stop doing this. Because, for example, everyone has a goal of, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to get to this % body fat, or I want to be this. And the really deep-rooted question is, well, why?
Right.
Because so often people think that if I get there, my life's going to be better. And reality is, I've seen it over and over and over. People get there, and their lives are no different. No one loves them anymore. They might get some more attention when they're out and about. They might get a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But the deeper question is, well, what does that mean when you lose 20 pounds? What does that mean for your life?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's more of a scenario of, oh, well, it means I have more energy. It means I'm healthier. It means I have a chance of living longer. It means all these different things.
Okay, those things are true, right?
Those things are true.
Right.
But getting to the 20-pound weight loss doesn't mean those things will come true.
Valid. Okay.
I've seen a lot of people lose 20 pounds in a very short period of time. And for example, none of those things come to fruition. They feel worse. They're sicker. Things aren't going so well, but they lost the 20 pounds.
Right.
So there should be more of an intrinsic driven scenario, I believe.
Yes.
Because here's the thing is that you may not lose that 20 pounds, but you may gain all of that. But if you don't realize, you're not looking at, okay, I'm going after these things. I'm only going after the 20 pounds. I see this a lot too. They don't get to the 20 pounds. It didn't work. It failed. But holy shit, you're sleeping great.
Right.
You're leaner. You have more energy. You're more present. Your labs are better. Everything that would happen when you lost the 20 pounds has happened.
Right.
But because the scale doesn't say,
Reflect
oh, you're down
number.
20 pounds, it was a failure.
Yeah.
I've literally had these conversations. I remember one time I was working with this lady, and like when we started, she was sleeping 3 hours a night, constipated, no energy, cranking on coffee, felt horrible.
Wow.
And her goal was to lose 15 pounds.
Not the other stuff. Not
Well, the goal was to lose 15 pounds. And so we get through the first phase, the whole reset, everything. She's like, well, this failed me. It didn't work. Well, why? Well, I only lost 8 pounds. I'm like, okay. Well, I wanted to lose 15. It didn't happen, so it didn't work. I'm like, well, okay, I have some questions for you. How are you sleeping? Oh, better than ever. I'm sleeping like 7-8 hours every night. It's great. Oh, okay. How about the constipation you had when we first started? How's that? She goes, oh, I'm super regular. Okay, well, how about your daily energy? She goes, oh, it's phenomenal. I don't even drink coffee anymore. It's all day long. I have no energy. It's great. And I look at her, I'm like, how the hell did this not work?
Yeah, yeah.
She goes, well, I didn't lose 15 pounds. I'm like, but I just dramatically changed your life, the quality of life, all the things you were struggling with are cleared.
Yeah.
But this didn't work because the scale doesn't give you the right number.
Right.
And so when I look at goal setting, I think we should look at it differently.
Yeah.
I think it should be a scenario of an internal drive.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Around something around, because the things you have to do to get to that goal, the process, that's the most important aspect.
Right.
So just to go set a goal, it's slightly motivating for a while, but it's real easy to abandon the goal.
Sure.
And it's really easy to maybe reach the goal. The goal can be very disappointing or very elusive. But it's the things you have to begin to do on a daily basis to make that scenario come to fruition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I found is when I can get people to focus on the process, the daily things they have to do to create that to become a possibility, that's where the game-changing effects lie.
That makes sense.
So had I written my book, for example, with the goal of I want to change as many lives as I can. I want, when someone gets their hands on my book, it has a life-changing effect on their hand. Because here's the other thing. I can't control who buys my book. I have no control making the New York Times bestseller list. That is on everyone else. That is on, something has to cause it to go. Lots of things have to happen that I have no control over.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing with the goals is we don't have a lot of control on the external goals we're looking for. We just don't. Like a lot of people have a financial goals. I want to make $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay, well, a lot of things have to fall into place for that to happen. But like, what are the things you have to start doing to go that route? And then what does that mean when you reach the $1 million? Like, what does that really mean?
That everything's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden now I'm a millionaire. And I can tell I'm a millionaire, right?
Right.
Again, that's looking for external validation. So I was having a conversation with my son about, he loves football and he has big goals in his future for football. And the reality is a lot of the goals, he doesn't have control of what happens with those big goals.
Sure.
What he has control of is what he can focus on every single day to get better and better and better and better to hopefully create the outcome he's looking for.
Right.
So instead of just focusing on the goal, I'm getting him to focus on, okay, well, what's most important right now to get to that goal? It's have a ton of fun every time you're out there playing, practicing. You got to fall in love with it at this age.
Yes.
And then 2, every day, do things that you can do to make yourself better at we call it the craft. Like, what are the things you can work on today to make your craft better?
Yeah.
And then when you get into a game, okay, let's implement those skills or those things you're trying to implement.
Yep.
Let's work on your craft. Now in the game, let's test how it all works out and then adjust from there.
Yeah.
Wins, losses, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's all external scenarios that other people have a bigger impact on than he can.
Right.
And so when you start focusing on like these big goals, the reality is most of those big goals, you don't have a whole lot of control of.
So the steps beforehand are what are important.
Yes. I believe it's the process that goes into play on the daily basis that can lead you towards that goal.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs to be more of an intrinsic driver versus a big goal because you want to control the outcome.
Right. Yeah.
And you ask a lot of, like, I'm just being honest with you, the whole New York Times bestseller, it was an ego thing. Like, I wanted the ego stroke.
I feel two ways about that. I can see where you're coming from saying that was an ego, but I don't think that's terrible to have a big end goal.
No, a lot of people are motivated and driven by this.
Yes.
And that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want people to do is dig deeper.
Right. Okay. That's fair.
Like dig deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens if you work your butt off towards that goal and it doesn't happen?
Right. Then you're disappointed.
And what you've missed is all the positive change you have created.
Yeah.
Like if I was still pissed off today that I hadn't had that I didn't make the New York Times bestseller, I mean, I've sold like 47,000 books.
It's incredible.
I've had thousands and thousands of people do the reset.
Yeah.
I should be super effing proud of that.
Yeah.
But if I was so stuck on, I didn't make the New York Times bestseller.
Yeah.
Like how silly is that?
Yeah. I get that.
So the point I just wanted to make was like I've stopped doing New Year's goals.
I've always hated those.
Yeah, I've stopped doing like body composition goals, weight goals.
Yeah.
I took a deeper dive and I said, okay, what is most important to me from my body?
Mm-hmm.
I got to have a ton of energy to hang with this kid.
Yeah.
He's the Energizer Bunny. He'll go and go and go and go and go.
Right.
So that's super important to me.
Mm-hmm.
My ability to be present with my clients and just be on top of all the work I have on my plate.
To count correctly.
Yeah, that'll never fix. I think it's a brain defect.
No, it's a trainer thing.
If you get above 6 reps, I can't count at all. And every single one of my clients will validate that.
No, and my students give me grief because I count by 4s. 8, 7. It's the slowest 8 you've ever heard.
I have taken your class, and yes, that's the truth.
Yeah,
you're the slowest counter. Well,
it's by 4. It's by 4, but that's okay. So it's really 32.
Oh my god, that's so mean.
But you know what? What you're talking about is so valid because let's just talk about kids' sports.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of parents, but you've worked with a lot of young athletes.
Yeah.
And how many of the parents think my kid is going to be the next whatever?
Yeah.
Every one of them is going to be a D1 athlete.
Yeah.
Right? A starter.
Yeah.
And the reality is that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, it's hard work to get there. There's got to be a lot of commitment. And now that like the NIL deals are coming, I think it's gotten way worse.
Yeah, definitely.
And my son will validate, there is a ton of pressure on these kids at very young ages to be great.
Right.
Which scares me because when you put a ton of pressure on kids, they begin to not want to disappoint people.
Right.
And so they stop taking risks. They begin to kind of play safe because they don't want to screw up and piss everyone off because they may have a lot of talent, but they don't have the mental capacity to deal with all that pressure that adults are putting on them to do these things. And you talk to most kids outside of the sports, like, what do you want from this? I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
But that is never the big focus in most youth sporting events anymore. It's like, no, you got to fucking win.
Yeah, of course.
You got to win. We got to dominate. We got to be the best. We got everything. When really, and these kids will begin to agree with it, but really, when you sit kids down, like, why do you love it? Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
But
I think some of the fun is taken away when it becomes only about the win.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
and that's where the pressure kicks in, and that's where like these kids don't have the mental capacity to deal with adults screaming at them.
No.
I mean, I've witnessed kids getting cussed at, from coaches, from fans. Yeah. Oh my Lord! Yeah. A good friend of mine came and watched Gavin play last weekend, and he's like, "I've never seen anything like that."
Really, the parents?
The parents. He goes, the pressure that you guys are putting on all these kids. He goes on both sides.
Yeah.
I even had one of my NFL players, Garrett, came out and watched one game, and he was like, "This is crazy." They were 8 years old at that time. He's like,
"Oh man."
He goes, are these kids even having any fun? It's just they're playing in a tough league.
Yeah.
And a lot of the players in this league, like, it's an out for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an opportunity. So there is a lot of pressure on these kids to be great,
Sure.
to have a positive impact on the families. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I do like about it is that the kids on our team they're super lucky because we're volunteer coaches. We we care about the kids. Like I've never seen one of our coaches scream and yell and cuss at our kids like I've seen other coaches do.
Yeah.
Our parents are great. Like, I've never heard them scream and yell and cuss at our kids. Like our kids are very lucky. But what I witness is we're in a league, basically of LA.
Yeah.
And it is insane what I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, last game, the coach of their team threatened the ref. Like threatened his life. It was like, what the hell? I mean, it was.
Did they get yellow cards and red cards and ejected and all that?
He almost got kicked out.
Okay,
But it's just like, this is too much for these little kids. And what's going to happen is...
It's not a good lesson to teach them.
No, and they're going to want to stop playing.
And not only that, but they think that that's okay.
Yeah.
And I don't
that's how you work. And I'm
that's
sure
how you talk. That's how you would talk to an adult? I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh, God, no.
No.
If someone ever spoke to me like that in a job scenario and cussed at me, yelled at me, we would have...
No, but I mean, I don't like when kids are talking to or arguing with an adult like that either.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. Yeah.
So there's a lot of it that's not good.
Yeah. It's just... It's crazy. So, I mean... I totally got off tangent there. I don't know how we ended up
probably
there,
because of me, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah. It's just that like the thing I see is that these young kids they're physically talented beyond their years, but they don't have the mental and emotional capacity to deal with the pressure that comes with that level of talent I'm seeing. And so some of these kids are in situations where they're not as lucky as our kids, where they have the talent and there's so much pressure and hostility, and you can just see it in their eyes. Like it's almost like they're scared. Like when at the end of games when we're high-fiving kids and we beat a team, you can just see it in their eyes. Like, oh shit, this isn't going to be good.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a win at all costs scenario.
Right.
They're not grown-ups. They don't have that development.
Well, we know people don't reach their total maturity until at least 25. So why would we expect a child to deal with all of that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the conversation I have with Gavin all the time when he's starting to feel the pressure is like, hey, no, this is just about having fun.
Yeah.
Like, this game doesn't matter. Like, no one's going to remember you from 9U football.
Yeah.
Like, your job here is just go out, have fun, work on your craft, try new things, and play hard and be a great teammate.
Sure.
And whatever comes from the outcome is going to come. But just constantly reminding him, because he forgets very quickly that he's supposed to be having fun. And I see that a lot. So
well, that could translate to adults as well. We forget that we're supposed to be having fun, and while we're pursuing the goal of whatever it is, and it becomes drudgery or it becomes such a huge task, and it's not. I mean, obviously there are going to be goals that one has that are not necessarily fun all the time, but like you said, really great grasping and appreciating each step. Wow, look what I'm doing right now that I wouldn't have been able to do before, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I've done, I had a goal to run a marathon, and I hated it. I did. I ran the LA Marathon. That was a one and done.
Yeah.
I felt terrible. I ate too much. I didn't eat right. I lost, muscle mass. I didn't look great at all.
Yeah.
I didn't feel great. It was just, something that I could check off. And, oh, okay, that was in the bucket list. And I think people do that with a lot of different things.
Yeah. And again, I'm not, if you're somebody who's motivated by goals, I'm not telling you to stop.
Yeah. I think just reframe.
I've been reframing my ideas around goals a lot because goals are so often, like I said, used for extrinsic validation, not for an internal drive. We're trying to, if I get that,
everything changes.
Or if I don't get that, I'm a complete failure.
Right. Not that I hear more often.
Yeah. Especially in the world of the fitness realm. Sure. When it is a focused goal, I'm at a point now where if that's someone's only goal is to lose weight or get to a certain body fat percentage, I'm going to tell somebody to go find someone else.
Yeah.
Because that is not my biggest goal for people. Because I know the disappointment in reaching that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times it's, well, this sucks. This has been really hard. I'm super deprived.
Yeah.
I'm really lean.
Yep.
No one really cares anything about it. If anything, people are intimidated by it or jealous of it.
Right.
It's kind of made things tougher. No one thinks about that. If you get super lean, people around you get really weird.
Yeah. What's your deal? Yeah, for sure.
They get jealous. They'll bash on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like they may be intimidated by you.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything's, I get really lean. Like everything's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
No, people get really weird around it. The leanest I ever was probably the worst my life ever was because everyone was just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah. I can see that.
I have no desire to ever go back there because it was not a comfortable scenario. Meaning it wasn't my best life.
Right.
And I was absolutely miserable.
Well, our society definitely encourages us to have a big goal and go after it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have goal setting journals and we have you know, all the things. And like you said, New Year's is always, what's my New Year's, resolution going to be?
Yeah. Oh, it's New Year's resolution. I said New Year's goal.
Yeah, same thing.
That's how long it's been since I've done one of those. Because I always found like that I was just obviously never for the right purpose. Why I would do this.
No. And everybody kind of just jumps on that bandwagon. And I actually have a sweatshirt that says, I don't care about your New Year's resolution.
Well, neither do they by about January 15th.
Yeah, you're right.
Is it January 15th or February 15th? At some point, I feel like 90% of all New Year's resolutions have been abandoned.
But I just, having worked at so many gyms, it's amazing to see the influx.
Until the middle of February, and then it dies off again.
Yes, it's wild.
Yeah. It's just it's the process of reaching the goals is where all the sweet stuff is.
Absolutely.
And it's within that that's the hard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to write a book, a lot of people want to write a book.
Yeah.
The process of doing that, it is like 1.5 years of every day being in that book, writing, editing.
Yeah.
And you have to commit to that.
Sure. How long did it take you to do yours?
1.5 years.
Oh, that's what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, if you do that and you write a book, I don't care what happens with that book, you're an awesome individual who can stick to something insane, and you should be super proud of yourself for that.
Yeah.
Because there was 3 times in the process, I went back to my agent like, I'm done. I'm
Really?
giving the money back. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. He's like, well, you can't. They've already paid you. I'm like, but you don't understand. I don't want to do this anymore. He's like, I don't care what you say.
3 times?
Yeah, it was a horrible, hard process.
Yeah.
It breaks you down. Because every day you have to be writing.
Okay.
Every day. Because if you take a break, which I did one time, I'm not going to write today.
Yeah.
That one day ended up being like 3 weeks.
Ooh, yeah.
Because the process is so bad. And when I came back to it, it was like starting over.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm done with this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
That was the first one. Mm-hmm. The second one was, I got all the way done. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I turned it over to the agent. He's like, there's only 30,000 words. I'm like, I know, but that's my book. He's like, well, you signed a deal for 75,000 words. You got 45,000 more to go. I'm done. Like, I'm done. Like, I got nothing else to write. He's like, well, you better figure it out because that's what they paid you for. It's a really hard process.
Yeah.
So if anybody chooses to write a book and they get to that process and they get to the end goal where they have a book, that is an epic accomplishment.
Yeah.
Epic accomplishment.
Sure.
But what most people do that is they feel like a failure because it's so hard to make the New York Times bestseller list.
Yeah.
There's a whole way to do it now after I've dug into it deeper, but like just that you completed a book is epic.
Yeah.
That's an example. Like some of the things we do when we get there, because we feel like the outcome's going to be so different from an external validation standpoint, you just miss all the sweet stuff that went along in that journey and what you have in your hand as a final product, whatever that is. Well, so, what I really like to focus on with people are what are the things you can do every day in a process scenario to help take you towards that, whatever thing it is that you want. And that's where the driver should be. Yeah. I'm going to commit every day to do this. And I have some clients that will text me that are kind of in a struggle and really fighting for it. Okay. End of each day, you have to text me whatever the 3 or 4 things on we're focused. How much protein did you eat? Did you walk your 10,000 steps? What did you do for a relaxation activity? And how much water did you drink? For example, so every night I get a text from that person telling me exactly what their step count was, how much water they drank, how much protein they drank.
How much protein they drank.
Or ate, sorry.
That too, probably.
It's been a long week.
I know.
To keep them in the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
and hopefully they feel good about, oh yeah, check, I did that today.
I did it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are days you don't want to do it.
No.
But it's that process that matters. The great Alabama football coach that recently retired, he was all about the process. You can't focus on the outcome. You really don't have a whole lot of control on the outcome. Yeah. All you can really focus on is the process, the things you have to do right now to create the possibility for that outcome. In the game of football, it's you and then the rest of your teammates having to do the process as well as possible to have the final outcome possibility to win that game. But if you haven't done the work and you're not dialed in on your process, you're one weak link in the chain, making it harder for that outcome to come.
Definitely.
So in like team activities, it's hard because you have you have a contributing factor one way or the other, but not a lot of control in the final outcome.
Yeah, yeah. I think that, it's a very yogic sort of thought process, being present.
Yes.
Most of us are not.
Yeah.
How many times, and I do this myself, you have your morning routine, whether it's put on my hot pot, my water so it boils, so I can have my warm lemon water, whatever. I drink, eat, take, whatever. My supplements, all the things. There have been so many times when I'm like, wait, did I just take that supplement? I mean, literally, that's so bad. It is.
Yeah.
But what I get bummed about is that is exactly what we talk about not doing. Just going through the motions blindly. Multitasking is not good because it means that you're not truly present in what you're doing. And if you are truly present, that goes back to what you are saying, then you are really appreciating each step that you're doing towards your goal.
Yeah.
If you're present, right?
100%.
Instead of just thinking about the future.
Yeah.
That's not promised.
Yeah.
The future isn't even promised.
Right.
So be present in what you're doing. It's hard. I think that's why they talk about wanting to do meditation so much, right? You talked about it. It's hard.
Super
Meditation is hard. And people say, oh my God, I can't do it. I'm lying there or I'm sitting there or whatever it is. And my mind's jumping around. Exactly. That's right. That's what happens because we are so used to, especially now, focusing on this, that, and the other thing. Oh, my to-do list. Oh, what do I have to do, before, I pick the kids up from school, whatever it is. Yeah. We are so good at jumping ahead. And that's probably why people only focus on the end goal and not the steps along the way.
Yeah. But it is those steps along the way to routinely do that make all the biggest difference, but are the hardest to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very easy to think about the goal.
Of course. It's
very easy to dream on it, ponder on it. What's my life going to be like when I get out there?
Yeah.
What's really hard is to do the daily things that will lead you towards the possibility of that outcome. But I really believe with all my heart through my experiences, especially my experience of always being so goal-oriented. Yes, you're always focused on the future. And my life will be good when this happens.
Yes.
I remember my dad sitting me down having that conversation. You're going to feel like this in life. My life will be good when I get here.
Yeah.
He goes, you know what? You'll reach that goal and you'll always think like, oh, it's really, okay. Well, now if I just reach that goal.
Yeah.
Like that goal. So he's like, okay, it's always important to have goals. I think what he couldn't put into words was the reality of it's the process of going towards the goals that is where the beauty lies, not so much the goal. The goal in the end run doesn't really matter one way or the other. Where I worry about the goal is the disappointment if you reach the goal and it doesn't have the extrinsic value that you thought it was going to have.
Right.
That's what I get really worried about because then people give up.
Yeah.
Well, shit, this didn't work. And they just go back to the old ways versus consistently getting better.
Sure.
And I really struggle with people fighting for a goal of weight loss or fat loss.
Yeah.
Because really the only reason people typically are focused so on that is because they think if they look different, their life will be different.
Yeah, very common.
And so many strategies out there are curtailed towards this. Extreme changes very fast to get that wow factor. And unfortunately, when you take that route, the rebound and payback is horrific. Because you will get there and be like, well, shit, this didn't really do much for me. And then you stop, and now you've done so much damage to get there that you'll go back to where you started and then worse. And then every time you try to get back on the horse, it gets worse. Versus beginning to think like, okay, I want to be a healthy, lean, fit person.
Vibrant,
all those things. Okay, well, what do you have to start doing every day to lead yourself towards that process? Not what do you got to do the next 90 days to get to this specific number. What do you got to start doing every day? And that's just how I want people to start thinking about it in a deeper manner. Because I find when people do that, one, it's much easier to get to that look or whatever you're thinking of. Because that's not what, that's just the
byproduct
of doing all the hard things every day. But then you'll realize one day, oh my gosh, I'm there. I look better than I ever have.
Yeah.
But it hasn't really been that hard and I feel great. And that's the thing that I love.
Yeah.
When someone gets there and they're like, I got great energy, like all these things are so great. Oh, and by the way, I lost this amount of weight. That's when I love the outcome.
Sure.
So when I find when people are focused on, I want more energy, I want my blood chemistry to get better, I want these things, they go through the process, you get to then how'd it go? Oh, this is better, that is better. Oh, and by the way, I lost some weight.
Yeah.
Now that's a massive win because they were going for an intrinsic, internal changes.
Yes.
Not just an external What's that number say?
Yep.
And then those people tend to stick with it because the process is in place.
Right.
And the weight loss was just a nice little added benefit versus the only focal point. I guess that's why I wanted to push this so much, because I've seen that working with so many people over the years. When we focus on the internal stuff, the stuff that matters to us, not what something out in the outside world is telling us about us, that's typically the outcome.
Right.
And that's just what I want to kind of share with people in regards to goals, as I've been digging around with it, thinking a lot about it, working a lot with my son on it. Like, how do I help him progress towards a goal versus being solely fascinated by the goal?
Yeah.
And then experiencing either like, well, this is it if he makes it, or the disappointment of not making it.
Right.
I want him to experience the beauty of the change and how much he's developed over the time by the time he gets to that point of that possible goal.
Right, because there's a lot of wins along the way.
100%.
And that's the thing that I think you're talking about that people don't really stop to pay attention to.
Yes.
And if you don't reach the it goal, then you're wrong or bad.
Yeah.
Versus, wow, look at these things that I did do so well.
Yeah.
As an example, Quinn's beach volleyball team, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, reached the Natties, NCAA championships, for the first time in program history last May.
Yeah.
That was a huge, huge, huge goal. They wanted to win it, of course. Well, they have to take down SC and UCLA, so, which is a little rough. Now, if they're to say, oh, we suck because we didn't beat those teams, that's the wrong attitude.
Yeah.
Right? All of these steps along the way makes me get choked. Where's my Kleenex, Caesar?
How is this making you cry?
Because it was amazing to watch her and her team. You're a brat. Hey, you tell me that if you see Gavin doing something freaking amazing, you're going to be lying to me if you tell me it's never brought tears to your eyes.
Well, yeah, it's great.
Okay. What? I'm a marshmallow. Do you not know this by now? I cry at everything. And you know what? I don't apologize for it because I love it. It feels good to cry, and it feels good to feel the things.
Yeah. All right, I'm done. So this is a good cry, not a bad
cry. Yeah. No.
Oh, it's not a cry of like, you're disappointed, you want him to win it all.
No.
Oh,
I'm crying, weepy because it was amazing.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were weeping because they didn't.
No, hell
they didn't reach the goal of winning it all.
No. Yeah, that's it. No, just because it was so freaking amazing to see this team. Like I said, first time in program history.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think I wore mascara that's waterproof.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
Okay. Don't ever make fun of me for crying, brat. Okay. No, it's good. But my point is, I know that they wanted the whole thing.
Right.
They didn't make the whole thing, but goddamn, they made such incredible leaps and bounds towards that goal.
Yeah.
So would they say, shoot, it would have been great if we had ended up the champions? Yes, it would have. However, I do think that they took time to sort of smell the roses, if you will, along the way and said, gosh, look at this. This is pretty incredible.
Versus thinking we suck.
We didn't win it all. We
failed ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now what does it do? It's going to light a fire.
Yeah.
For sure. But I really think that that's so important that you're saying enjoy these steps along the way and make it more about how can I be the best version of me or whatever that is. How can I, you're talking about fitness goals. How can I improve my life? How can I improve my vitality? How can I make, as you say, live longer, better?
Yeah.
Live better, longer, excuse me. Yeah. Well, it works both ways.
Yeah.
Live better, longer. That's because, we don't think about, that stuff as much. As we start to get older, we're like, okay, things hurt more. My joints hurt. Yeah. Things aren't as easy as they once were. It takes a little more time to, get all of these. I don't know. I think that at least for me, as I've aged, my goals have shifted tremendously. And my husband started working out with you this week, which is amazing.
Loved it.
Yes. And I'm so proud of him because his end goal probably before would have been, I'm going to go beat the shit out of myself. And now he's really listening to you and doing things that, okay, I'm going to work on structural imbalances. I'm going to work on things that are going to help me thrive.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. And I think we could say that about anything in life. Let's make the steps just as important, if not more important than the end goal.
And enjoying those steps.
Yeah. Yeah.
The steps are challenging.
No, for sure. And it's not all fun and games.
No, but if you can lay out what the process is going to look like, the things you're going to commit to doing, and repeatedly do that, you build confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
And you also build belief in yourself.
Yes.
And trust in yourself.
Yes, for sure.
Remember when Eric talked about that, the whole trust thing?
Yes.
If you can lay out a process and actually do it every day.
Yeah.
The trust you begin to build in your own self is amazing. And then what begins to happen? You begin to trust others more.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we don't trust people around us because we don't trust ourselves.
Yeah.
You can't trust others if you don't trust yourself.
Yeah.
So how you build trust in yourself is you lay out these, whatever outcome you want.
Yeah.
Okay, here are the things I need to do every day to have that become a possibility.
Right.
If I do them every day, even when I feel horrible, I don't want to do it, all of me wants to stop, and you choose to do it, you know that you can trust yourself.
Yeah.
You're a person of your word.
Yeah.
And then what happens, what I've noticed in those scenarios is that all of a sudden, I'm not so untrustworthy of people around me.
Mm.
It's a pretty powerful tool.
Yeah.
Which then allows me to have deeper relationships with people because I'm not sitting there worried about, where's this person trying to screw me? How is this not? Because I'm not following through on myself.
Exactly.
So there's so much, there's such deep layering things that roll into this whole idea of stop focusing on the goal and focus on the process, what it takes to create a possibility for that goal to happen, realizing that oftentimes that goal is out of your control.
Yeah.
But you can control the process. And the growth that happens within that process is phenomenal. So if you get to the point where you all of a sudden realize, oh, well, I didn't lose the 20 pounds.
Right.
But I believe in myself. I trust myself. Look how much better I look. Look how much more energy I have. Look how much more connected I am with everyone around me. Look how much better my labs look. I am a walking phenom compared to where I was however many months ago when I started.
Yeah. When I was a train wreck or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is. I was a train wreck when it was me starting there. But I'm just kind of a mini train wreck, but it's getting better.
So do you ask, when you have a client, do you ask them, a new client, because it's been a while since I've been a new client with you, but do you say, what are goals that we can short term? Is that what you are trying to do?
So I always start with, okay, well, what are some of the goals with this? And what I'm looking for are more internal driven goals.
Yes.
I want to get out of pain.
Okay.
My labs are off. I want to get healthier there. I'm looking for internal ones. So I'll dig for those. And I'll always get I'd like to lose 15 pounds, whatever. But what I'm digging for is more internal driven goals. Because I know I can focus on those and create a lot of change around those and create and focus the emphasis on those. Because then what happens is over time, oh, hey, how's your energy? So when I ask questions, I'm never asking, how's your weight today?
Yeah.
I never ask the external driving goals. I always ask, how's your energy today? How'd you sleep last night?
Smart.
Clients of mine are listening will catch on this now. It's never, what was your weight today? It was always, how did you sleep last night? Or how's your joints feeling? Or whatever.
Well, and like what I did with you today.
Yeah.
It's a good example. My score from my Aura ring, my readiness was good.
Yeah.
And I like it to be excellent, but it was good. It was like, hey, maybe you need to chill a little bit today. What do you think? So I sent the screenshot of it over to you and just said, what should I train with you also? Because I had to teach class. Or what do you think? And you amended my program for today.
100%, you have to.
Yeah. No, but I'm proud of me.
Yeah.
Because the old me would not have done that.
Right.
It would have been, oh, good, I'm going to go freaking crush my legs today and do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that mentality is different now because of you, which is great.
The score is definitely wrong. I'm not going to listen to it.
No, exactly. I'm not. Yeah, exactly. I know lots of people that don't pay attention to it. Yeah.
Oh, this thing's lying to me today.
Yeah. I'm the other way.
But it's never lying when it's a good score.
Yeah, that's true too.
It only lies when it's a bad score.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I hope that helps people. Just I want people to be successful. I want people to, and some of the guests we're going to have coming on here over the time, they're going through some extreme stuff. And if you're in that state, how do you pull yourself out of that? You can't just say, my goal is to be healthy. My goal is to be healed. My goal is to be this. Yeah. There's such a far realm from there. How do you get there?
Give some steps to get there.
And what we're going to talk to these people about are okay, well, what did you focus on? Because what I've learned of people in that state is they just find one thing to focus on, to create little wins, to keep them going, to keep them motivated, to get to that big end goal. Like my kids, they want to play college sports. Yeah. well, he's 9 years old. I'm not going to treat him like a college kid and like put all the pressure on him. It's like, okay, so let's break it all the way down to, okay, you're 9.
Yeah.
What needs to be established now for the future for that to happen? It's you got to fall in love with this. You have to have passion and love and have so much fun because if you do have that opportunity to play college sports, it's not fun anymore. It's a job.
It does become a job. You're right.
It is a grind. And what keeps the great athletes
20-hour weeks.
Yeah, what keeps them in that grind is because they love the sport and they have passion for it. I've seen so many kids that I've worked with get to college. They were so pushed so hard by their parents. They hated it. And as soon as they got away, yes, they got into college for the sport. Within half of a season, they were done.
Really?
They all hang it up because it wasn't about fun and passion and love. It was all about trying to keep their parents happy. It was done for everyone else, not for themselves.
Sad.
It's super sad.
Yeah.
So I've been lucky to see that. So like I know with him, it's like, okay,
avoid.
I love your goal. I want to support your goal. I love your dreams.
For sure.
But I know right now, if we don't instill a deep love, passion,
and not for you,
and fun,
not for you,
not for me at all, like for him,
yes,
like, nothing else matters. It's not gonna. That is gonna be a hard path.
Yes.
And if he does eventually make it, it won't last long because that love and the joy and the fun aspect of it are gone.
Right.
And so, but it's the same exact thing for like our health goals.
Yeah.
The scariest place to be is in a place where you realize your health is really bad and the way you live is not supportive of it all. That is a scary place to be.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you're so far in the hole and you have so far to go.
Yeah.
It's like you got to break it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to create a simple process for little wins over time and get really clear on the deep internal reasons why you need to make these changes, why you need to get to that goal point of vibrant health.
Yep.
What is it for? I mean, oftentimes I just make it for my kids and I can spiral out of control with stress and all those things and get to a place like, oh my God, I'm living horribly right now.
Yeah.
Why do I got to pull myself out of it? Because it's like, I feel so far away from where I should know I should be. It's like, okay, well for him, I have to. He's young. I'm not young. Like,
you're not.
I got a lot of years.
You are too young. Stop it.
I'm 49 years old.
That is not, you're not.
I'm about to be 49. My son is 9.
I know, but that's not
He's not
old.
graduating high school for.
Doesn't matter. It's not old. Stop it.
I'm just saying, I have to take much better care of myself than a 24-year-old father at my age.
That's awesome that you are paying attention to that.
That's all I'm saying is that I have to take better care of myself than if I were younger with him. Right? I could still get away with not living as healthy, not being as focused on how well I take care of myself.
Yeah. I think very, very, very valid.
Right. And so it's just, I'm giving people some tips on like, look, find deep reasons why you need to make the change. Because it's hard and scary when you feel like you're so far blown out and gone that there's no hope.
And appreciate things along the way.
Yes, as you get better. I love just doing weekly wins with people. Like what's going better, what's improved.
Yes.
Celebrating. I just got a great text from my cousin Kelly earlier today who was in a really bad place. Like a lot of inflammation, hip, like crazy pain, hip replacement, all that stuff. And she slowly started implementing all these strategies that she's been learning to bring the inflammation down. And it's slowly had a massive positive impact on her life.
That's great.
And what I loved about it, she goes, I knew you would celebrate me. When she shared it all with me, I was like, boom.
Oh, very cool.
So it's super cool. Like, but she had to make some really hard choices to change her lifestyle and had to go learn a lot. Like,
sometimes we're just focused on the wrong things. Yeah. You know, we can't see the forest through the trees.
Yeah. Well, and she would go to her doctor to get labs. They wouldn't even do it for her. She's like, oh my gosh. And then they're like, well, all we're going to do is whatever's on your labs, we'll just give you a drug for. She goes, no, I want advice on how to get out of that. And she couldn't get it. So she finally went somewhere else, had labs done, is going to send them to me and go to a naturopath. She wants to just keep going. Right. Which I'm super proud of her
That's
for.
Great. That's great.
Like, success breeds success. Yeah. So she's turned the tide, put her foot down, started making little changes. Yes. They've been building on themselves. And now she's ready for the next level of change. And super committed. Yeah. And she's implemented a lot of the stuff we talk about on here. Cutting back her alcohol. Good. You know, instead of having a glass of wine every night, it's maybe once a week, if at all. She got the grounding mat. She's been doing all kinds of cool things to bring her inflammation down. Better sleep, all that stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But success breeds success.
Absolutely.
If you're only focused on the big intern goal and judging yourself on how well you're doing it versus just like focused on the process and the little wins, you'll never get the goal. Or if you get it, you'll be disappointed in it. The value comes in who you become as you go through the process over time.
Yeah. And appreciating, like you said, the little wins.
Yeah. And then, because you will not notice when you've drastically changed and are a different person on the face of the earth. Because it's a slow building process.
Yes.
It's not like at any one point someone's like, there you got it. You're a different person. I value you more now. I love you more now. I want to be around you more now.
Right.
It never works like that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you're 8% body fat? We can be friends now. It doesn't work like that. Oh, you lost 20 pounds. Now I want to be around you. I want to hang out with you. We can be friends.
We definitely
you
have
are a super valuable person now. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds silly, but I know in my head I think like that.
We all do.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah.
I have a quote I want to read.
Yes.
That I was just thinking. I read it to my class today.
Oh, I was going to ask you to share that because I read that on Instagram.
You?
That is awesome.
Okay.
It plays right into this. This is part of the thing that stimulated me a little bit with this conversation.
Good. It's from my calendar, You Are a Badass.
Thank you.
And it says, this is the quote, "It never ceases to amaze me, the precious time that we spend chasing the squirrels around in our brains, playing out our dramas, worrying about unwanted facial hair, guilty, seeking adoration, justifying our actions, complaining about slow internet connections, dissecting the lives of idiots, when we are sitting in the middle of a full-blown miracle that is happening right here, right now."
That's so
Boom!
good.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's true.
It was funny earlier this week. I meet with a group of men. They're part of my kind of spiritual group.
Yeah.
Great Christian guys. They've actually been in my life for a long time.
Yeah.
They were like original clients of mine. Mm-hmm. And the whole teaching was on Sabbath and solitude and how important rest is. Mm-hmm. It's like a biblical thing.
Yeah.
It is the most valuable tool we have to completely just get into a state of rest. And as the pastor was teaching it, I started chuckling a little bit because one of my guys, like, I learned all this from Brad like 15 years ago, like on the importance of rest and not overdoing it.
Yeah.
And as he was talking biblically about it and how it all works, I was like, oh my gosh, it ties directly into everything I found in the Metabolism.
Love it.
Because how many of us will take a day and disconnect from all activity? So this is really what a Sabbath is just, it's not like Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, Sabbath has always been on a Saturday, right? That's when the Sabbath really was. But what the Sabbath really is just a day where you just disconnect from all activity.
Yeah.
Get off your phones, no work-related activities, no chores around the house activities. You just rest and do things you love. You can exercise, you can paddle, go for a walk, read, rest. It is just a simple day of rest. And it talks in the Bible about how powerful that is to give us the energy to keep fighting in life and keep going on.
Love it.
And that is so hard to get people to do.
I know. You just said they could exercise, though, so they might get carried away with that.
Well, yeah, it's different. It's got to be, you're doing it because you enjoy doing it, not because I have to do it.
Right.
I got to go do this to change how I look.
Okay.
If I don't do this.
Different.
It's different. I'm going to go for a walk or a
hike
workout.
Or something.
A hike.
Yeah.
Things outdoors are phenomenal for it.
Yeah.
You're going to do it because you love how it makes you feel and it improves your mood and it's giving back to yourself.
That's fantastic.
If you're using exercise to give back to yourself because you love yourself versus using exercise to punish yourself because you don't like how you look, that wouldn't count.
Yeah.
That's going to cause more stress.
Sure.
And they talk about how anxiety goes down, stress goes down, focus goes up, motivation, energy go up week by week when you do that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's, I need to, I still today don't have a whole day, 24-hour period where you can do it.
I don't either.
But he challenged us, he's like, find 24 hours once a week and do it and just tell me how different your life is.
Yeah.
So I challenge all of us.
Yeah.
Find 24 hours, one time a week, where you don't work, you don't do chores, you get off your social media, get off phone, and you just focus on yourself, rest, relaxation, giving back, being with people you love. And let me know how much better your life gets doing that. I think it's super powerful.
Definitely.
And if a whole day is like, there's no way in hell, okay, start with half a day.
Yeah. Again, baby steps.
Yeah, like I'm committing to half a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sunday afternoons and evenings, that's the time I'm committing.
Sure.
Or I'm just
love it.
decompressing, hanging with the kids, just doing the stuff that we love to do.
Yep.
Not working. I can't do the full 24 hours because I started taking some clients on Sundays. But it is what it is. I ran out of time during the week, and football on Saturdays. So
we're going to clone Brad, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that'd be great. So I'm doing half a day. I'm starting with half a day.
Okay. But that's a great start.
Yeah, and I'm working towards a full 24-hour period. Because after knowing how much I know about stress and rest and relaxing, all that stuff, the metabolism, and then hearing him from a spiritual side come at it, and it, holy cow, I was just shocked at how much the carryover is on both. I mean, I guess it's not that much of a shock to when you think about it, but spiritual health, physical health, they all kind of play together. Pretty cool. Pretty excited. I challenge people to do it and just see, like, I fear like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall behind.
No.
But the reality is your energy is so much more elevated that you get more done.
Yes. You're not dragging.
In the time of when you have to work versus getting less done because you're tired and fatigued and dragged, just like you said. Yeah. So
fantastic.
I like that little challenge for people.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add today?
No, I got my quote in. I liked it.
I'm so glad you read that. I was going to ask you to read it. I forgot to do that before we started. No,
as we were talking, I thought, I have just the thing.
Yeah. It's really funny. As I was driving over here, another post came up on one of my favorite authors talking a lot about this kind of stuff. And then I saw your quote.
Oh, good.
Yeah, as I was waiting for him to go to school, I'm like, oh, this is it. We got to talk about this.
Good. I love it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And all our listeners, thank you for listening.
Absolutely.
Remember, the whole goal of this podcast is to help you live better longer.
Yep. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.